Hello everyone! In today's video I'm going to show you how to attach bead caps to your bead crochet balls, plus I will share some other finishing components you can use. There are a few ways to do it, so let's get into it. So, inside most finished balls you will find a polystyrene ball. The first method is super simple. Grab a long headpin and pierce it all the way through the ball. These headpins usually come in sizes from about 50mm to 70mm. This one is 70mm. And I like to use it for smaller balls, around 4 to 5 centimeters. This is what it looks like once it's finished, with the 4 centimeters polystyrene ball inside. The total size comes out to about 4.7 centimeters. Now, because I don't want the edges of the polystyrene to fray or risk the headpin slipping inside, I like to add flat bead caps to both sides. So I just take the bead cap, thread the headpin through, and push it through the polystyrene ball. You see here that a little bit broke off. No worries though. I like to secure it by adding a bead cap to the other side as well. And if you want, you can even glue them on both sides for extra security. Next, I grab my partially crocheted ball. We place the polystyrene ball inside before we start decreasing the bead count in the rows. This is how it looks once it's all set up, perfect size. Now we just keep crocheting all the way to the last row. This is what it looks like when all the rows are finished. Now I can trim the thread and fasten it off. I'll thread the tail onto a needle and hide it between the beads. Then cut off any extra thread. Next, I will add a bead cap. Make a loop. And voila! Here's the finished end of the Christmas ball. Now, for the first method, some people might not love that the headpin sticks out. If that's the case for you, I have a great solution that's honestly my favorite method. Instead of piercing the ball, I simply pop the polystyrene ball inside without piercing it through. Then I crochet it as usual, but I stop about 4 rows from the end. Okay, so there are just 4 rows left now. Here's how it looks. This is the perfect time to attach the headpin. I'm going to use a flat bead cap and 3 or 4 short headpins. I also love using glue dots, so I grab one of those. First, I take one headpin and one bead cap and slide a bead cap on. Then I just put a glue dot to secure it to the inside of the bead cap. This keeps the headpin in place. You don't have to do this, it's optional, but I like doing it to make sure everything stays put. After that, I take 2 more headpins and shorten them just a bit. Something like this. To make sure it stays in place, I stick these short headpins into the ball. This makes sure everything stays exactly where it should. The cool thing about this method is you don't have to deal with the headpin sticking out while you are crocheting the ball, which can be a bit of a hassle. It also gives you more options for design. Even with larger crochet balls, you can use decorative bead caps in different colors. And because headpins typically only go up to 70mm, for a larger ball you might not have enough length to attach a bead cap. But with this method you can use bead caps for any size ball, even the really big ones. Now let's finish crocheting those last few rows. Now I add the bead cap, trim the headpin with pliers, make a loop, and here's the finished Christmas ball. Another option is to take a long enough headpin and pierce the completed ball. But this leaves part of the headpin exposed unless you really hide it with the thread, which can be tricky. Some people don't mind this look because it's not super obvious. After that you just add the bead cap and make a loop. So that's another option. You have probably seen these traditional Christmas ornaments ends. You can use them with polystyrene balls too. First, you insert one wire then the other. This is how it looks once it's done. I think this is a great option. You can reuse these ends from old ornaments or buy them separately. I've seen them on AliExpress. The only downside is that the selection is limited. They only come in silver and gold, and there are only a couple of designs. Another option is these endings. I'm not a huge fan of these though, because they're plastic and don't look as nice to me, but they are definitely an option. You can just stick them into your finished piece. I recommend gluing them for extra security. Then there are these screw-on endings, which I also recommend gluing. These give a more subtle finish without being too decorative. If you are not into bold elements, this is a great choice. Lastly, you can also find screw-on springs like these. You just screw them into the polystyrene ball. You can put them at the very end or a little before, depending on your preference. They are not very decorative though, more subtle. I've also seen clearer plastic ones. So I hope you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you are looking for patterns or ready-made kits, be sure to check out my Etsy shop. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye!